Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is a video I didn't think I was going to make, but I did it anyway. It is another steam test. So this is the final steam test prior to delivery of this locomotive. Tomorrow it is going to get running, so this is the penultimate video. Tomorrow I will be videoing this locomotive actually getting on track, and this is just me getting it certified, so it is a full steam test. I'm not on the rollers, so I'm not getting the wheels turning on this one because I know that part already works. This is where I want to be checking that the safety valve does its job. It evacuates steam at the correct pressure and sufficient quantity of steam, and also making sure both injectors run. So the protection of the boiler is going to be all in place. So it starts with me getting the locomotive outside. As I say, not on the rollers, so it's just sat down on track. I've got the engine and tender hooked together for the first time, really. Now that I've made the new drawbar and all the pipe arrangement has been sorted out, this is it in its final configuration. So fire's built, and now I light it. So fire's on, blower's on, and away we go. And it's just a little bit of a waiting game. Yeah, feed the fire and just going around making sure I've got water in my tender, making sure water's coming out of the injectors, and everything's ticking over as it should. And yeah, it's always a bit of a waiting game, but this is quite a nice locomotive. It steams like a witch. It really does love fire. It steams so easily. It builds pressure so easily. Yeah, so it's an absolute dream to fire this engine. Water goes in very easy, fire goes in very easy. What more can you say, really? It's just a dream to work on. Okay, so first problem of the day is I'm having to swap out the gauge glass. It was only a case of once it started to build pressure, it was leaking out of the top nut, and I tightened the top nut up and it didn't have any effect. So I dismantled it and found there was a crack right at the top where the nut intersects on the top gauge glass fitting. Luckily, because the gauge cocks work very well, I was able to isolate and swap the glass out without having to kill the fire, and the fire came back to life very, very, very quickly. And before I knew it, I was up at 25-30 pound, and I was able to take it off the blower a lot quicker than I would have anticipated. Then once it's in steam, I'm just having a quick test of the injectors, and unfortunately the right hand injector, the left hand injector is still playing silly buggers. Right hand injector works fine even down at 50 pound, but that's why I have a John. Now John is our resident guru on injectors. He has rebuilt the left hand injector, built a new steam cone for it, so John is the best person to have on hand to help me fault find and problem solve. And then it's just a case of get this pressure built up. So here we're going to test the safety valve first. So I'm just prepared to make any adjustments should I need to. This pressure gauge, the safety valve has been set on compressed air, and it pops off perfectly at 75 psi, and the needle doesn't move. So it is on our test. We have a roaring fire, a blower wide open, and making sure there is no accumulation. We've got maximum accumulation on steam of 10% of the overall working pressure, but the pressure gauge doesn't move while the safety valve's going off, so it's absolutely bang on. Now we're on to sorting out the injectors. As I said earlier, the left-hand injector is playing silly buggers. It's not wanting to run very cleanly at all. Right-hand injector works perfectly fine. We have done absolutely zero modifications to that since its last steaming. All we've had is John has remanufactured the steam cone on the left-hand injector, But yeah, we're still having a little bit of a battle here. So John's having a little bit of a tweak on the steam cone. He's got his special reamers where he changes the dimensions and angles of the hole in the steam cone. Don't ask me any of the specifics here, John. I've got nowhere near enough intelligence to deal with these. That's why I've got a John. But yeah, a little bit of playing around. We actually draw a fault back to the bottom cap of the pressure gauge. So we try the injector on a remote tank here, and it's fine. We try it on the right hand water valve, it works fine. So that is a fault at the left hand water valve, and it just turns out there was a small leak on the bottom cap of the water valve. I took it off, put a little bit of sealant on it, put it back on again, and it worked an absolute treat. It worked perfectly, which, yeah, it's having John there to fault find for me, it's absolutely fantastic. So now that the steam test is done and passed, I can put this engine to bed, almost. Well, I can dispose of everything in it. So whilst I'm disposing of the fire, I've also unhooked the water feed pipes from the tender so I can drain the tender down. So I've also operated my new remote blowdown valve, which works an absolute treat. It means you're not having to crawl around underneath the engine, and all it is a pipe coming off the back of the boiler to a remote valve. And I think this is almost revolutionary. I've never done this before, and it works an absolute treat. I've seen it on other engines, and yeah, first for me, blowing it down is super simple, and all you need is a 6BA spanner onto the square nut on the back of the blowdown valve, and away all the steam and water goes. Fantastic. Yep, definitely going to be doing that again. Then it comes to cleaning and polishing. So this top, the side panel here, it required a bit of a polish because there was some marks to the varnish on the top section. So I've ended up polishing the entire side. So yeah, just polishing the defect in the varnish out, and then it's going to be a case of cleaning the entire engine. So I'm just going around everything, just dusting everything, and then I give everything a liberal coating of WD-40. So we use instead of using the aerosol version, we get the liquid version, put it in squirty bottles, and away we go. And we do this on all our engines. Give everything a good squirt. The engine is cold and the paint is cured. On a brand new paint job, I don't do this on the first steaming. I only do this on subsequent steamings because we sometimes find brand new paint has a tendency to be a little bit gooey until it's baked. So once I've given everything a good clean, I'm going around and I'm touching up all the bolt heads. I put this off till this moment to make sure I'm not having to take this engine apart. So I'm going around all the screw heads in the top of the tender tank, bolts that hold on the smoke box, and all the screws in the running boards and whatnot are all getting touched up with some black paint. And yeah, all good. So this as I say, this is the last time you'll see this engine in this workshop. Tomorrow it's going to go out to play. I'm taking Mark with me because Mark's got a little bit more experience on track than I have. I've got very limited experience running on a track. I'm an engineer, not a driver. So taking a driver with me, also a spare pair of hands. He's about on a par with me, engineering wise anyway. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, all goes well. As always, thank you very much for watching. please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in a few days once I've edited tomorrow's video. It'll take me a little while, but I'll be back.